Cheerleaders, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. I am Coach Julia, and today we are going to be doing Lutz jumps. This is one of the most difficult jumps. It's the last true single rotation jump. The axle is 1.5 rotations. Still considered a single, but I think of this as the last true single rotation jump in the lineup. Before you learn this jump, I really encourage you to have learned all your other single rotation jumps, starting with the waltz jump, then the Salchow, toe loop, loop, and flip. So you want to have all of those clean, and then you can work on that Lutz jump. You also are going to want to have a half Lutz. So the half Lutz will teach you the proper entrance to a Lutz. So you can work on just that part and then come back and do a whole Lutz. So I will post tutorials to the links to all of those jump tutorials in the description down below so you can brush up on all of those skills before working on the Lutz. But if you're ready, we can get started with the whole Lutz tutorial. Now, the Lutz and the flip are very, very similar. The Lutz, the main thing you need to know though is that the Lutz takes off of that outside edge. So you're on your left back outside edge when you tap versus the flip is on the left back inside edge. If you start in a nice Lutz position and then switch to an inside edge before you take off, that's a flutz. It's actually, you're doing a flip jump when you're trying to do a Lutz jump, and we call that a flutz. So you want to be very careful to make sure you're maintaining that left back outside edge all the way through the takeoff. So what we're going to do is start with just the entrance. I think of this as like a hook, like a candy cane. Okay, so you have a hook of your crossovers, your long straight entrance, and then the landing kind of hooks the other way. Okay, so we're going to start with crossovers. Now, I rotate counterclockwise, so I'm going to be giving you these directions in a counterclockwise motion. If you rotate clockwise, you're going to need to switch all of this to the other direction. Switch lefts for rights, and then you'll be able to do it your way. Okay? So I do my right over left crossovers, and I'll get myself a little bit of momentum. And these are just your traditional crossovers. Your hands are facing inside like you normally have with your crossovers. Then we're going to get set up for that entrance. So we're going to make the hook around. You're going to put your feet together, drop your hands through, and switch them. You're going to lift your right leg and look over your shoulder. The purpose of looking over your shoulder really is just to make sure you're not going to run into anyone out. I'm fortunate in that I have a very empty session right now, but if you're out on a really busy session, you need to make sure you're looking where you're going so you don't run into anybody else on your takeoff. So that entrance again is going to be right over left crossovers to give yourself some momentum. Drop your hands and feet together, switch. Lift your right leg and your right hand and look over your shoulder. All right, so that's the setup for your Lutz. Now, once you're in your setup, you're here, okay? We're ready to take off for our jump. Now, what we're gonna do is lean to that outside edge as strongly as possible. Now there's a number of different techniques for how to make this happen. So if you've seen different techniques, your coach is giving you different techniques, that's fine. There's a lot of different ways that people instruct on how to get to that outside edge. As long as you're on that outside edge, you're good, okay? So if you have a coach giving you a different technique, follow that technique, okay? I'm an online coach and I have a lot of really good tips, but someone who's working with you in person can see exactly what you're doing, and so they might have some slightly different instruction than what I'm going to give you here. But we're going to give you some really good foundations, at least, for that Lutz. So you're gliding on your left back outside edge. To get to that outside edge, there's a few things you want to do. A, really engage that core so that you're not leaning forward, okay? You don't want to pike those hips. Keep your hips under you, engage your core, engage your back, okay? So you want to be as tall as possible. You will see some lean forward on the takeoff, but as much as you can, you want to keep your shoulders over your hips so your posture is really straight. Okay? If your posture is here, then you have to correct that on the takeoff. You're in the air and you have to fix that position, right? So you want to keep your posture as tall as possible and leaning slightly to the outside. You don't want to lean over, you don't want to get crooked, right? You don't want to tip, but you want to have your whole body very slightly to that outside edge to make sure you are maintaining a true Lutz, not a flutz. The other thing is, as we reach our right leg back for the tap, you are going to want to reach it crossed. That crossing motion also helps pull you onto that outside edge, kind of like a power pull. So if you've learned back power pulls, you can apply that feeling here. Glide, pull. So let's go over that again. We've got our entry, getting some momentum going. We're gonna stand tall in our upper body, really strong in that core. Reach back, crisscross your legs so you get onto that outside edge, and that's gonna help you tap. So your strong body, strong back, reaching, doing a little power pull, and tapping crisscrossed. Now on a flip, you usually tap with your legs in an A shape, and that's gonna let you get onto that inside edge. But with a Lutz, you wanna tap like an X, so your legs are crossed. That's gonna help you stay on that outside edge. You wanna think about having pressure on your pinky toe, that little toe on the outside the whole time, okay? And tapping cross is gonna help you make that happen. All right, so you can try that entrance just with, like I just did, tapping and hopping, and that'll help you find that outside edge. In fact, I encourage you to really work on finding that outside edge before you even try to rotate. So we have our crossovers, drop those hands through, look over your shoulder, reach, tap in that X, and land. So let's talk about a few of those fine details. We're going to talk about a couple more details with the feet, and then we're going to talk about that upper body. So we are tapping in a crisscross position. You want to feel your feet pigeon toe as you take off. All right, so your feet are literally leaning away from each other. The more dramatically you can do that with that left leg, the better you're going to stay on that outside edge. If you see some of the really advanced competitors, you will see them in this position right before they take off. So you're tapping crisscrossed, nice strong upper body, drawing back and pigeon toeing those feet so that your heels flare away from each other. You also want to tap as far back from yourself as you can. You don't want to tap close and bent. That's going to hammer the ice. It's going to leave a huge hole that someone's going to have to fill later. But it also is sending all of your momentum down. It's sending your energy down into the ice. And we want that tap to send us up, right? We want all of our momentum in this jump lifting. So the job of the tap is a lever. Okay, your speed is traveling backwards. When you tap, the lever is supposed to flip you up into the air. So you don't need to hammer that toe down to get a big jump. In fact, you want to have a light tap and your energy to go up. Okay, so reach way out behind yourself so you can scissor those legs together, and that closing motion of your legs coming together is going to give you some power. So the right leg, that tapping leg, is a lever, right? It's sending your backward momentum up into the air. Your left leg is the power, the jumping leg. So you're in your tap, this back leg is going to push and lift you up into the air, okay? So your right leg is sending you, changing your momentum. Your left leg is what you're jumping off of to give you all that power. Okay, that's a few tips for the lower half of your body. Now for the upper half, we're going to talk about how to make it rotate. So you are reached here, and what you're going to want to do is think about taking your sternum, the center of your rib cage, and sending it on a diagonal angle up. Okay, so as you're jumping, where you look, you will go, okay? So if you want to go up, I want you to take that center of your rib cage and lift it up in a diagonal towards the corner, okay? Now with your arms, your left one, which is reached out in front, you're gonna pull it straight in, okay? In fact, there's a lot of workouts at the gym where you can use a band or something and pull in and really strengthen that motion. But this hand, this left hand, is coming straight into your chest, okay? Now we're doing singles, so you don't have to pull in quite as tight as if you were trying to do a double or a triple, but that's the motion, pull. The right hand, which is behind you, is going to come forward. And that's where most of your spin comes from. In your upper body, your left is coming in and closing, but your right is coming forward. And that motion of your right arm coming forward is going to help you rotate. That's another thing you can do at the gym, is or at home with some exercise bands, is practice pulling that arm forward and strengthening that motion. So you're here. You're reached out, left in front, right in back. You're gonna pull those arms in, left tucked in, right coming around and closing towards the left. Okay, let's put all that together into a nice, strong, clean Lutz with a beautiful checkout on that right back outside edge. Okay, so we have our crossovers. Keep that body up as tall as you can. Change your position, reach, and check. All right, skaters, I hope you enjoyed this Lutz tutorial. I can't wait to see all your Lutzes on Instagram. Make sure you tag me at Skating Coach Julia so I can cheer you on. If you enjoyed this, please do give us that thumbs up. And as always, I look forward to reading all your comments in the section down below. If you haven't done so yet, then hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell down in the corner so you can see all my videos when they come out. Happy skating, and I'll see you next time.